All right, welcome everyone. If you've ever looked at a computer and wondered what it really takes to bring one to life, then you are in the exact right place. Today, we're leaving the theory behind, we're stepping into the workshop for the act of creation itself.
So let's just jump right in. Our mission. It's simple on the surface, but it's also kind of profound, right? We're going to take this pile of parts, just a collection of metal and silicon, and with our own two hands, piece by piece, we're going to bring a digital being to life. Okay, but before we get started with this whole act of creation, there is one, and I mean one, absolutely crucial safety rule we've got to follow. It's a tiny thing, but it's everything when it comes to protecting the very delicate components we're about to assemble. And here it is. It's really that simple. You just touch the metal computer case to discharge any static electricity. You're grounding yourself. And look, I know it seems small, but this one little touch, it prevents an invisible danger from destroying our project before we even start. That static shock you sometimes get, it can literally fry these sensitive electronics in a flash. So safety first. All right, safety's handled. Now, let's meet the cast of characters for our big creation. Every single one of these parts has a vital, specific role to play in the machine we are about to bring into existence. And first up, we've got the CPU, the Central Processing Unit. This is the brain of the whole operation. You can think of it as the core of the machine's consciousness, you know? Every single calculation, every instruction, it all starts right here, in this little powerhouse of a chip. Next, the motherboard. Now, this is like the skeleton that gives everything its structure, but it's also so much more. It's the central nervous system. Every signal, every bit of data, every command, it all flows through these complex little roadways etched onto this board. It connects everything to everything else.
And then there's the RAM. The easiest way to think about RAM is like the machine's short-term memory. It's like a super fast workbench. When the computer's running a program, it pulls the data it needs right now onto this workbench so it can work on it instantly. It's what lets the brain multitask like a champ. Okay, so if RAM is the workbench, then the SSD, the solid-state drive, that's the long-term memory. It's the library, the high-speed archive where everything is stored permanently. The operating system, your files, all of its knowledge and memories, it all lives right here. Now for the fun part, the GPU, or Graphics Processing Unit. This is the artist of the group. It's the vision center. Its entire job is to take all that number crunching the brain is doing and turn it into what you actually see on the screen. Beautiful images, smooth video, you name it. It's a visual powerhouse. And last but absolutely not least, we have the power supply. You gotta have power, right? This is the heart of our machine. It's the power plant that takes the electricity from your wall outlet and turns it into the precise lifeblood that every single one of these components needs to function. Without it, nothing happens. Okay, deep breath. We're now at the most delicate, the most critical part of this whole project. We do all of this work out in the open, right on the motherboard, before we even think about putting it in the case. Honestly, it's a lot like performing open-heart surgery, and this requires precision, so let's walk through it. First, the brain, the CPU. We gently lower it into its socket, making sure to line up those little golden triangles. Absolutely no force needed. Next up, the workbench, the RAM. You just push it in until you hear that really satisfying click. Then we screw in the archive, our little M.2 SSD, right onto the board. And finally, we attach the CPU cooler. You can think of this as the respiratory system that keeps the brain from overheating. But wait, when we're putting that cooler on, there's this stuff called thermal paste. And this is a question every single builder, new or old, asks. How much is enough? Because this paste is what pulls the heat away from the brain and into the cooler. If you use too much, it's a huge mess, and it actually works against you. But if you use too little, well, the brain could overheat. So what's the secret? And the answer? It's actually super simple. Just a single drop, about the size of a pea, right in the middle of the CPU. That is it. Seriously, when you install the cooler, the pressure will spread that little dot into a perfect, thin layer for the best possible heat transfer.
The brain stays nice and cool.
Okay, so we've done the surgery, the core of our machine, the brain, the nervous system, the memory. It's all one cohesive unit now. So it's time to give it a home. We're moving this entire assembly into its body, the computer case.
And right here, we hit what is basically a rite of passage for every, and I mean every, PC builder. See this little metal plate, the I/O shield? This has to go into the case before you put the motherboard in. Forgetting it is such a classic, infuriating mistake because you'll build the whole thing and then realize you have to take it all apart just for this one tiny piece. Don't be that person. All right, now we're installing the rest of the major organs. The artist, our big GPU, slides right into its slot. Then the heart, the power supply, gets mounted. After that, it's time to connect the main power arteries, these big, thick cables that bring everything to life. We also have to wire up all the little buttons and lights on the front of the case. And then, the final art form, cable management. Tucking everything away neatly isn't just for looks, it's crucial for good airflow. And here we are, the moment we've been working towards this whole time. Every part is in its place, every cable is connected. We have reached the climax. This is the moment of truth. Okay, 4 final steps. First, we do one last paranoid check of every single connection. You can never be too careful. Second, we plug it all in. Power cord, monitor, keyboard, mouse. Third, the moment of truth. We press that power button and you hear the fan spin up. Our creation takes its very first breath. And then fourth, we get ready to tap that key to jump into the BIOS and see if it all worked. And we have a signal. Yes, that is the best sight in the world for a builder. We're in the BIOS, the system's most basic control panel. And look at that. The brain, our CPU, detected. The workbench, the RAM, detected. The archive, our SSD, detected and healthy. It worked. Our creation is alive.
So, there you have it. We've done it. We've built a powerful, functioning body. We've literally breathed life into a machine. And that closes out this incredible first chapter. But you know, a body, no matter how powerful, is really only half the story, isn't it? Because a body without a mind is just, well, an empty vessel. We've built the hardware, the physical machine. That's the roots and the trunk of our technology tree. But the mind? That's the software, the operating system. That's what gives it purpose and connects it to this whole universe of information. That's where the branches of the tree really start to grow. And that's the question we're leaving on the table. We have successfully built the body. Now, what universe will we create with its mind?